Hey everyone, just gonna show you the training that I was doing this week. This is my 8th week of Jack and Tan training, and this actually was the week where I hit my 100th training session in Afghanistan, so that's pretty cool. Usually I would just narrate my videos, and that's what I did with my first voiceover. So I voiced over the whole video, and I decided that, rather than just telling you what you're seeing, even though I'm putting descriptions of what's happening up there, I should just talk to you kind of about the way that I've been progressing on this. So I get some questions about people asking how I'm progressing my lifts and all that kind of stuff because I really haven't been hitting a lot of 1 rep maxes or doing any kind of programming off of percentages or anything like that. And the biggest thing for over the last 8 weeks, I mean, maybe even the last 12 weeks, I've been focusing on just hitting new rep maxes with weights that I could already do. And if I feel like hitting a 1 rep max, then I will. But the only lifts that I think I've done in Afghanistan for just a heavy single is I did a front squat this week, and a few weeks ago I did a sumo deadlift for a single. I was trying to get it for more repetitions, but it didn't happen. Um, so a lot of times people focus so much on progressing their 1 rep max that they get tied up in that monotony of chasing that ever heavier number. And what that does is it kind of eliminates you from taking a different avenue of progress. And what I mean by that is you can change your set and rep structure. You can change the metrics from which you measure your progress on. And so if that means rather than basing programming off of intensities, maybe you're basing your programming off of reaching a higher and higher rep maximum at a same weight. Or maybe you're going to keep the same weight for a few workouts on the same exercise, but just add one more rep, sort of like the Hepburn method or something like that. So that's kind of how I've been thinking about my training for the last couple of weeks. And it's been going pretty well because all of my lifts are going up, and I have no concern with programming off of my 1 rep max. I'm really just programming off of thinking about, hey, this is what I can do right now, and this is what I've done before, and so how am I going to modify my training program to continue making progress on this? And specifically for the jacked and tan cycle that I've been doing, I've been trying to just make incremental jumps up in sets of 10 for 2 weeks, and then I would do sets of 8 for 2 weeks. And so for the first 4 weeks, that was 4 sets of 10 on week 1 and week 2, ascending in weight. And then on week 3 and week 4 was 4 sets of 8, ascending in weight. And now on the second cycle of jacked and tan, it was a heavy single rep out. So it was just 1 plus for everything. If I wanted to do 1 because I wasn't feeling that good that day, then I wouldn't do anything more than 1. I would just do the single and be done with it. And then after that, I would do the ascending sets of 10 and 8. But rather than 4, it was 3 sets of 10 ascending and then 3 sets of 8 ascending. And none of that's programmed off of intensity. It's just programmed off of what I knew I could hit for 10 repetitions and 8 repetitions before I started all of this, just gradually working my way up to it. And so with some of the people that I'm coaching out here, many of them are kind of obsessed with chasing that goal of getting 225 on the bench or 315 on the squat or 405 on the deadlift. Those are kind of like the big numbers out here because a lot of people are novices to trainees, and so it's hard to get them to understand that in order to master the weight, you first have to master the movement. What I mean by that is you have to practice it, and in order to practice your movement, you have to do it frequently, and you have to do it a lot. And a big example for me would be my deadlift. I had always put it on the back burner. I'd rather squat 2 or 3 times per week because it was more fun and it took less time to recover. But with my deadlift, lately I've been doing way more repetitions, and I've been doing it every single week, and what do you know? I've made progress. And I haven't been chasing that 1 rep max with my deadlift. I have gotten within 60 pounds of my all-time 1 rep max in my deadlift, and that's the heaviest I've gone in the last 8 weeks. And so I know I typically preach in my regular GZCL method that you've got to do, the 1-2-3 ratio of lifts, and that's all well and good, and that works all the time um, for whatever goal it is. If you're chasing that 1 rep max, if you're preparing for a meet or something like that, but at the same time, I had that working for me for over 2 years, and my progress really slowed down. And so I think it just goes to show that not all programs are going to work for everyone for the same duration. And that's kind of already common knowledge, but it took a big event to really strike that knowledge within me to be like, hey, I need to step away from what I've been doing for these last 2 years. Um, Not that I'm less loyal to my method, but you know what? For 2 years of continued progress, and then it started slowing down, that's pretty good for generally following the same guidelines. Um, Now, these last 8 to 12 weeks or so, I've been doing something totally different, making progress in a different way. And progress is still progress. It's just that, hey, I've just shifted my focus from the metric of chasing that 1 rep max to now I'm just chasing rep maxes. And the consequences of that are now my 1 rep maxes are going up again. So I think it's just something to keep your eyes on when you're programming, is don't get obsessed with that single digit number. Thanks.